Hello everyone, welcome. Kiri Honey here, relationship coach for moms. If you are a mom looking to have a stronger relationship than you did before the kids, then you are in the right place. Now today we are talking about trust, and this is the second attempt at talking about trust because last week we were trying it when my son was at home sick, and if you haven't watched that, watch it till the end. It ends, it's pretty interesting there. It was rather amusing, if you will. Okay, so I have received some questions, which is pretty exciting. So I'm going to get to those at the end. If you have got a question, if you're here watching live, and you would like me to talk about something related to trust, then feel free to pop it in the chat and I will answer as we go. Now, I need to go to my screen, which is behind me because I've hidden the question. So just give me 1 second. There we are. I asked my husband, I just talked to him like 10 minutes ago. He has flown away for the weekend to go wood chopping, as he does. And I asked him if he had any particular insight to share with you guys today. So I've got that as well. Which is pretty awesome. So let's dive in, shall we? So we've got trust in terms of our relationship. How do we trust that this person that we care so deeply about isn't going to break our hearts, right? I think that is the biggest thing that we worry about. And so my question to you would be, well, what is the thing that you're most worried about? What would happen if they did break your heart? And how could you overcome that? So I can say from personal experience, from those who have been following me for a while, that I have had my heart broken and shattered into little tiny pieces in a way that I never expected. And how do I now trust that person? Well, the answer is because we have talked so openly and so honestly about all the scariest things. And that is really how you grow trust, is by being completely, brutally honest. And I know that that's scary, because what if they don't like what you have to say? What if in opening your heart completely, it gets broken again? But then I'm going to flip it again. So what happens if you don't? What happens if you continue to live a life that isn't your truth, where you're not expressing yourself completely, where you continue to be afraid and worried about things that maybe haven't happened yet? So is it scarier to be yourself, or is it scarier to not be wait. Is it scarier to be your true self, or to be pretending you're someone else and then living a life that is not as fulfilling or empowering or fun or whatever as it could be? So which one do you choose? And I can tell you, again, from experience, that the joy, the fun, the excitement, the everything that you want is on the other side of that fear. And trust, yeah, it can be broken. And it can be hard. And it can, you know, it can hurt. But what other choice do we have but to do the scary thing and hope that you can support each other through it? And I mean, trust is different probably for different people, shows up differently. We all have different stories, different ways that we've been hurt, different ways we've been affected by a break in trust. And if you can't be your true self with the person that you have committed your life to, whether that be actually having married them or, you know, have kids with them, or, you know, you chose this person. If you can't be your true self with this person and trust that they will continue to love you anyway, then what's the point? Isn't it better to know than to continue to live a life that isn't true for you? Apologies for the dog. He always decides to bark when I'm on video. It's just his thing. So, what do you think about that? Now, there may be some patterns that you're repeating from trust issues that maybe you had growing up. Maybe you were betrayed by someone close to you. Maybe you have a history of being cheated on like I do. And what if that was more about you than it was about them? Does that resonate with you at all? So I found that I was quite needy, and some people might relate to that, because I was definitely waiting for, you know, my husband to contact me or to get in touch with me, rather than taking action myself, or rather than actually being preoccupied in things that made me happy, that I didn't need him to message me constantly because I was busy doing things. And this is only recently, everyone. So I talk quite a bit about how I kind of relied on him to make me happy instead of making myself happy and doing things that bring me joy and having more fun in my own life. And his job is to improve that. Like, you know, I don't want him to take away my joy and take away my fun. We need to do this together. But I'm not like, you need to make me happy. Why are you not doing these things that would make me happy? So there's that as well. So I'm not as available anymore because I'm busy doing the things that make me happy. And then I share that with him. And it means that I don't sit around worrying about when he's going to get in touch. And I don't sit around worrying that he's with somebody else, because we talk. We talk about the things. He knows what makes me happy. I know what makes him happy. And so when we're communicating and when we're sharing what's important to us and we know that we love each other, it means there's no room for anybody else. And it's important to keep that up, because if you don't, then there will be a gap, and there will be room for somebody else, and they will be looking for the attention that they need and crave from somebody else, because they don't feel safe getting it from you, or vice versa. You don't feel safe getting it from them. So those are some big things. So what my husband wanted me to share is that you need to be open to getting hurt. If you want full trust, then you probably are going to get hurt. You're going to hear things that you don't want to hear. Because sometimes the truth does hurt. But the truth is also really powerful. And in knowing the truth, you can then work through things that you wouldn't be able to work through if you didn't know about it. And it also links back to very early on in this community, I talked about a book called The 4 Agreements. And I will put the link to that training below this one so that you can refer back to it. One of the key points to living a happy, fulfilling life is to not take things personally. So if your partner tells you something that you don't necessarily want to hear, or you say something that they don't necessarily want to hear, the key is to know that that is not really about you. It is about them. And it's important to hear what the other person has to say and learn to approach that with compassion and empathy, and to understand, yeah, I can understand that. Just like for me, I can understand why my husband enjoyed the attention from somebody else, because he wasn't getting it from me. I can understand that wholeheartedly. And I know it's easy. It's easy to start getting attention from somebody else. If somebody came along and was like, ooh, you're really sexy and la la la, and you're not getting that at home, it's easy. But it's also important to be in a space where you can openly and honestly communicate that with your partner. So that's the goal. You need to be in that place where you feel safe doing that. And then the other bit that my husband wanted me to share is you need to be able to talk about even the most awkward things in order to gain trust. The things that make you the most uncomfortable. Whether that's like sex positions you want to try that you're afraid that they're not going to be into, or anything. That's just what came to mind. Because, well, that's something that we talked about. And there you go. So that is it. Now I've got a question so I send an email out asking for questions related to trust. And I have one here to share with you. So the question is, I find it difficult to trust a man that he'll make efforts to make a good and loving relationship. The men in my life, including my father, were leaning back and did nothing to make a relationship work. and I'm tired of doing it alone. I won't accept that anymore. And that is completely understandable. It is hard to feel like you're doing everything. And I can relate to feeling that way. And when you are able, in a place where you are able to communicate and understand, and you're aware of what you want and what you need, and they are able to communicate what they want and what they need, that is when you no longer have to sit and wait for something to happen. Because we don't know what we don't know. And if you've been raised in a house where men did nothing, then you wouldn't know to do differently. If you allow if you allow your partner to do nothing, then you need to take a little bit of responsibility yourself on that one, as tough as that might be to hear, because you're encouraging that in your house. You're allowing your partner to treat you in a way that you don't want to be treated. And that's a lot of what we can work through. If you decide you want to have a chat, I'm here to support you through that. And a lot of the work that I do is really around gaining the confidence to know what you want and be able to ask for what you want. Because what I've learned through this journey is that we only get one chance. Like, this is it, people. This is your life. So how do you want to spend it? Shall we take charge, own it, own our actions, own our reactions, because that is all we can control. The only thing we can control is ourselves. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Let's do something. So if you're keen, let's have a chat. 15 minutes, super simple. You fill out some questions. Tell me what you're looking for in your relationship. I'll give you some tips on what you can do. It's that simple. You can raise your hand or put a GIF. I always get that wrong. I'm like, is it a GIF? No, it's a GIF. But I love them. You can pop one in the comments and we can book that chat. Yeah, I hope you guys found this helpful. I had a lot of fun chatting with you today. Oh, and I am going to start a YouTube channel. I've decided to face that fear, and I'm going to do that because I know a lot of people do. They go to YouTube to find the solution to things. So I should be on there doing the things. So I'm going to. And then another favor, if you know anybody that could also benefit from the trainings that I offer in this free community, please share it with them. Tell them about this group. Share it with your mom friends, because we all need to support each other. We all need to hear these messages, and we need to start talking about the hard things and no longer living in those hard places. We can do better. We can have better. I'm in it with you guys, so enjoy. I hope you found this helpful. Say #replay if you popped into the replay, and we will chat again next week. See you then. Bye-bye.